Boxing is a defensive sport. If you want to achieve, if you want to be in the national stadium in the springtime with your boxers, it's not easy. Sparring, the competition, the skill, the fitness, there's so many levels to it.
It's a great start for any unit. You're out there, you're there on your own, and you have to figure it out.
It doesn't compare to a team sport. It doesn't compare to any sport. It's either 100% or nothing.
What boxing gives you this, it's developing the inner warrior. I got into boxing because my father, God be good to him, started a boxing club in the little village of Kilfenora in 1979-1980. There was 4 of us in the family, 4 boys, 3 brothers, and they all boxed as well. I suppose it makes it easier. There was a bunch of young fellas around, Cassidy's in Cavan, Ruane, Gary, Martin O'Loughlin from Ruane.
The lads, Patrick and John and them lads used to box away at home. Mickey McCormick was the one that started, and his lads were at it at home. But I met him here one day. He came in here for a pint one day, and he said, "Would you be interested in boxing?" And I always was. So I said, "Yeah, I would, yeah." So he said, "We're thinking of starting a club in Kilfenora." Asked me if I'd go over, and I did, and just got going from there.
One of the biggest influences was Mickey McCormick Sr. He was kind of the man that brought us through from since we was about 8 years old right up to till I was in the senior championships, and he was my main guy to push us all the time. We were hanging around the streets and he was saying, "Get in and train and get boxing."
Jimmy Daffy, who lived in Corofin, in the parish of Corofin, Jimmy was our first coach, and Jimmy was a very, likeable character and a great character, and he would be the person that showed us the first jab or the first straight left, in boxing, and he was the fella that, he was the first coach we had. He
got involved with it and started teaching us how to do it properly, and he had a great straight left. He was the old style boxing.
When you start a boxing club, it's very hard because you have no role models in the club, so you're starting out, which is very hard to do, and you learn a lot of your lessons by putting the flat of your back,
The toughest fights I ever had were in the hall in Kilfenora. There were spars. There was nothing spared. But there was great camaraderie. It started off with, I think, maybe 5 or 6 lads, and then the following year there was probably maybe 15, 20.
There was a core group of strong fellas that were able to take punishment anyway. And the ethos of boxing that time was you stood there and you took a punch and you gave a punch. Boxing has changed completely since those years. 92, which was Ali Markham, who was Irish senior middleweight champion in his time. He represented Ireland, wore the green singlet, boxer of incredible talent, incredible power and courage and strength, and God, I remember he coming up sparring us, and every time he'd hit you, you'd see these bunches of lights, he would hit so hard, But he took over the training of the club.
He spent a lot of time, and he got a lot of, it kind of gained the notoriety and success up through the 80s, and in 92 then they were voted best club in Ireland, I think, which is, it never happened before or since.
It could never happen again. We were best club in Ireland. We won more titles than any other club in Ireland in 1992, which was an incredible achievement. And Ali Markham, he was the man that was responsible for it, really. But no trainer can do it without he having the talent to do it, and they were a very talented group of young fellas there in that year.
I think they had 7 or 8, or maybe, I think 7 or 8 Irish champions that year. It was an unbelievable achievement.
Kilfenora 92, I guess we'd probably the most Munster championships, probably the most Irish championships, and such a good team. Ollie Markham had a big role to play on that. He was there twice a week and some Sundays, but it's all down to the guys that was training there as well. I mean, there was a really good bunch of lads working out there, and they were very dedicated to the boxing for Kilfenora, and you know, it excelled from there.
And that's the thing about a successful club. You won't have a successful club except you have a couple of, you know, good lads at the top of their game, because they pull everybody up. If you're going, you know, if you're training and it's mostly novices, it's how they actually pull the good boxers down, because the good boxers are trying to bring them along. But if you have a few at the top level, their spars and their level of fitness and their commitment will kind of pull up everybody else.
The level of training raises when that is the case, like, and the level of sparring raises, and you learn from one another. Like,
the more you push each other, and everyone wants to be better than the other. You know, it's all down to sparring. You know, no one wants to get beaten in sparring, and sparring is it's like a fight, and probably sometimes a lot more strenuous a sparring session, because you're trying to prove yourself to the next guy that you're training with. So you have to be on top all the time. So that's what pushes everybody, you know.
It could never happen again geographically, like in a little village like Kilfenora in the west of Ireland. That could never happen again. Really.
His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, is wearing the red trunks trimmed in white. He tipped the scales at exactly 230 pounds. His unblemished professional record shows 2 wins with no losses. Fighting out of Watertown, Massachusetts, by way of County Clare, Ireland, here is Irish Jimmy Clancy. Jimmy Clancy.
I won the Senior Irish Championships in '95 at heavyweight. There was 14 in the weight, and I said if I got to the finals, I'd take a step more from there to win. But 4 fights, then got to the final. I fought Mark Sutton from Dublin, and it was a tough fight in the night. I thought the guy from Dublin was going to get it as a home decision, so he'd urged me on to fight twice to fight to win it. I went to America in 2000. My record, I had 1 loss out of 14 fights. That was the last fight I had. Was my last loss. Was Madison Square Garden, and big fights. We used to fight down in the casinos like Fosswood's Casino. Used to fight in New York a good bit, and Madison Square Garden. But yeah, most of the fights in New Hampshire, Maine, be all over the place really. But it was all about who your promoter was and how much you could push it. So, you know, every 3 months we were hoping to fight. So sometimes you fight every 3 months, sometimes you might not fight till every 6 months. Kilfenora Club, it's going very well. I mean, there's Patrick McCormick as his daughter, who's Irish champion. Her cousin is the same thing. She's on the national team. It's a great boost to Kilfenora.
The club split up then in mid-90s.
So there was no club in Kilfenora for 6 or 7 years.
It was Patrick that brought it back. We talked about it here, and we just, you know, when we'd meet, myself and Patrick, we'd talk about it would be great to get it going again, and then Patrick started again, similar to what happened originally. He just started off again out of nothing.
It took us a few years to get on our feet. It took us a few years to get our boxers up to provincial and national standard, but we're there or thereabouts now. I think we won about 4 national titles last year underage.
Yeah, Patrick, you know, as I say, he persuaded me to get back into it again, so we're at it since.
My name's Robbie Cassidy. I started boxing when I was 7 years old, I think it was. About 10 years now I've been boxing, so I won the first year at the club when I started back again, and boxing ever since. And the younger ones, well, yeah, just get them used to it. They like it as well. Some let's boxing. If they're boxing like right now, instead of having my father and Patrick training them all the time, I thought they get more excited if we're training.
Right, so clearly started. It's with the push-up. Yeah. So just
Coming close to championships, so we'll be taking the young lads nearly all the time, and they'll be focusing on the lads that are actually going for championships, so it works out better as well.
That's it, and again, come on! Pressure on, come on, 10% there! That's it, and again, that's the one! And again, get in!
The whole thing about boxing is that it's about teaching young lads about confidence, you know.
You start off, this little kid comes into the club now, they come in at 10 or 11 years, and you're watching them progress, and you're with them in their first contest, and you see the nerves and you see the fear. And to get them through that, like, and you know, give them the encouragement, like, and then you'll see them grow as boxers and as people and as young fellas going out in the world, like, it's a marvellous, and there's a wonderful kick out of that.
The one thing that I love about the boxing club over there is you see kids coming in, you know, that look at the ground and have nothing to say, wouldn't even talk to you. You know, they're afraid, they have no confidence, and after a year or 2 years, those kids would walk out in the Grand Ole Opry and sing.
When you climb through those ropes, you stand in that corner and center the ring buys and the bell goes, like, you know, you're there by yourself. There is no corner back, or there's no wing back to save you. You're there by yourself.
Anybody that didn't box never understands how big a deal it is to walk inside, to stand inside 3 ropes and box against, you know, take on some opponent.
You have to call on strengths mentally and physically that you know, that you weren't aware of, that you have to learn to reach to, like. And it does develop that inner warrior, like, which is, I think it's very important for young people going out in the world that's there now.
It's a huge, huge step to be able to do that. If you can do that, you can stand on any stage in the world. If you can get inside 3 ropes, because there's no escape, there's no corners to hide in, there's, you know, everyone can see you. And if you can do that, you can stand on any stage anywhere in the world.
One Irish and one cadet championship. Well, I started boxing when I was like 6, and then, well, yeah, I kind of always like at it, and then championships started when I was 13. I'd hope to go good, but anyways, like, you know, you'd always want to kind of do your best and everything, kind of. You'd always be nervous going into ring, like, but you're not nervous a bit sometimes.
It went very well. The club are delighted with a great crowd and a lot of good contests, boxers from all over the county, and Clare sent a very strong team, and we're delighted with the performances the Mayo boxers put up. we have a close relationship with the Clare teams. The Clare teams would have been coming here down through the years, back into the the late 80s and early 90s, and we've started up that tradition again. There a lot of sparring. We do a lot of sparring with the Clare teams, and they've got a lot of good girls, and we're trying to promote girls boxing, and we have a lot of girls in our club and a lot of Mayo girls, a lot of girls in the county of Mayo. So we're trying to promote women's boxing in particular. So Clare have a lot of good girls, so they prove very, very good contests for us and very good for sparring.
Very good, yeah, very good. It's anytime you get 8 boxers on. We're always looking for contests for them. It's contests that keeps your boxer sharp. It's contests that we look for in these tournaments. It really doesn't make a difference whose hand goes up, but we try and get them the experience, and it's all geared towards the championships and all geared towards the national stadium. That's where it's important to win, and that's what we're all these are little stepping stones in the long road, for every boxer. I was happy there was a couple of cracking contests there. Conor Malone had a great contest, maybe lucky enough to get the decision. Padraig Malone had a great contest. Sinead Collins had a good contest, unlucky maybe not to get the decision there. Quaylen had a good contest, won it easy. Kaylee again was terrific as usual, and it's great to have, I suppose you see the progeny of all your work down to the years. To picks the like of Kaylee, she's 18 years now and she's in the club since she was 8, and she's really she is a class act. We left Belmullet last night at 11 o'clock after boxing Michelle Lynch. She's the senior champion at 54 kilos and the senior international. 3:30 when we came home, and we're here in Swinford again today. So that's the effort it takes. And you can see the progeny of that effort and that training, the skill and the commitment and the accuracy and the fitness, and she has it all, that girl, we're great. There's a couple of boxers in the club we're very lucky to have, and I suppose there's it's great to enjoy them while we have them. I suppose that's basically it,
I have won 5 Irish championships. The plan is under 21s, then intermediate, and then we'll see about senior. Robert Cassidy and Patrick McCormick, they're very inspirational. I trust them with my life. In the ring, when you're under pressure and you can come back to the corner to 2 well-capable coaches. When you've Patrick in your corner and he comes, you can just hear him shouting, there'll be everyone be roaring and all you can hear is Patrick. And then you have one good shot and all you can hear is that's the one, and then you just know you got her, And when you come back, he can tell you exactly what they're doing wrong, exactly, and then he tell you what you do to counteract that. Oh my God, it's unbelievable, And he's so encouraging, and then after it, he needs a big hug and a kiss waiting for you, it's just, oh my God, it's actually unreal. It doesn't compare to a team sport. It doesn't compare to any sport, and I'm involved in a lot, and I just love it. Just the endurance, the pain, everything, I just love it.
We train a little hard in Kilfenora. The facilities now wouldn't be third world but it wouldn't be first world either.
The facilities aren't fantastic now that we have at the minute.
We've nothing here really. We've 2 bags, ring, that's about it.
It's not ideal, but it will have to do for now.
And we start off with skipping for a warm up. Then we do run around exercises or stretching on the move. And then we'd go into pads, bags, core. We might do some sprints. you do push-ups like and all that. Just finish off with sparring usually.
Hi, my name is Blue Shinners. I'm the owner of Eastway Fitness Club in the Eastway Business Park in Limerick. We're a multi-discipline gym. We do everything from boxing, martial arts, strength conditioning, treks, kettlebells, and we're also starting CrossFit very, very soon. We get quite a lot of professional athletes coming in here to get strength conditioning, obviously so to help them prevail within their own sports. But at the moment we're working with a guy called Michael Sweeney. Now Michael Sweeney is a light heavyweight professional boxer.
Second pass, round 1.
When I turned 11, I had my first amateur fight. I'm now 30, turned professional in 2007, and as an amateur I won 6 Irish titles, and I turned professional in 2007, and at present I've 15 fights as a professional. I have a younger brother, Gary, he's 18. I had a couple of rounds tonight with sparring, and he's 6 times Irish champion at present and a silver medal in the European Championships. For the amateur boxing, I think it's on a high, flying, a lot of young talent coming up, a lot of talent at present. Professional boxing has changed my life because all the people I've met in boxing, and I've travelled the world, and on my passport the reason of travelling them stamps was due to boxing. So I think it's done wonders for me, and I encourage every young lad to go, you take up boxing, and it's a discipline but it has done me wonders, and I'm proud to say that.
Our ethos in boxing in Kilfenora is the secret of boxing in one line. The secret of boxing is not to get hit. To be that smart, to be that well schooled, to have those feet, to have that guard, that you don't get hit. Then of course the next thing is you have to learn to hit and don't get hit.
Boxing is about defence. It's about making sure that you don't get hit, and stealing a point when you get a chance. It's not about going in and knocking the head off of somebody. That's not what boxing is about. It's about making sure that you can defend yourself.
And that is the ethos we have, is not to get hit, to be that good in your feet, that balance, and when you to go through all the exercises and when you're fit, mind and body, and you have the skill to do it, it's really sheer poetry then, it really is.
My idea of boxing is that would be that the kids would learn how to box. They'd learn how to defend themselves, and they'd gain confidence, doing it. So we give them a hard time, we do push them, give them a hard time, but we praise if, we try and bring them on by positive methods.
Amateur boxing, there's blood, sweat and tears there, and there's honesty and sincerity, and you go down to the Munster Championships, go to the Nationals Championships, and you'll see those kids emptying the tank inside in the ring, and win, lose or draw, they'll walk over and shake hands with their opponent.
It isn't the most important thing in the world to have an All-Ireland title or to have any titles. Our belief is it's more important to have the confidence, and the self-confidence and just what boxing gives you otherwise. It's great if you have that skill, and Ireland is, I think it's 5th in the world now in boxing. So if you have somebody that's at national level in Ireland, they're up there in the world, on the world level as well.